This is Adam 2 for 1. Remember to share the video and hit that little bell notification thing, because YouTube is starting to censor stuff. So if you subscribe, it doesn't mean anything. Sometimes, like, if you subscribe, it might remove you from the subscribe. And also, subscribing doesn't always let you see the new videos. So hit the notification bell thing, and then you'll get the videos and stuff. Because if you're on, if the restricted mode is on, you can't even see any of my videos. So turn that off. So yeah, they're already starting the censorship thing. Nobody thought it was gonna happen, but whatever. But I guess if you're on the underground YouTube, most people watch unrestricted stuff, the restricted stuff anyway, so it don't matter. So remember to hit the notification and share the video. That's what will grow the channel. Let's see. And tell you the truth, all the views I've been getting, I don't know where they're coming from. They be coming from these weird spots. And probably getting some from North Korea or something. But anyway, so today I'm gonna talk about is race real? Well, I mean, even though I talk about race a lot, it's because people believe it's real. So, my opinion, or what I think is race isn't real. It was a concept that was created, I think, in the 1500s by some German guy, and so it was a newly created thing. So my thinking is it's not real. Now, if you say, well, if I think it's not real, is it still real? Well, the thing is, it's real because we're social people, and if you think it's real, then I have to also think it's real, because you think it's real. So you believe it to be real, and if because you think it's real, it's part of the reality. And we're here to figure out what things are real and what things are not. That's what we're here to do. So if you think it's real, then I also have to think it's real because you think it's real. So it's like a deep kind of concept. And then you say, well, okay, well, only way that I cannot have to think it's real anymore is I have to convince you that it's not real. So that's the only way that you say, well, okay, I have friends who think that race is real, but I don't. But I'm dealing with that every day, trying to convince them that it's not real. So and you say, well, okay, all I gotta do is ignore that. Is ignore that they believe that it's real. Only way it cannot affect you is either not be friends with that person or convince the person that to think that racism is not real, so I don't have to worry about it no more. But I don't know how you're gonna learn that way. And also, I don't know. It's gonna be really hard to convince your friends that racism is real or things that ain't real. But anyway, so I believe that I believe that race isn't real. And you say, well, is racism real? Okay. Well, if I don't believe race is real, then I don't believe racism is real either. So they go hand in hand. So if I don't believe race is real, then racism can't be real either. But that's only in my perception. When I see a black person attacking a white person, because I don't think that race is real, then I don't think that's racism. But in your eyes, you saw it as racism, a black person attacking a white person. But that's his belief. So, but that his belief affects my belief. So the only way it cannot affect me is I gotta totally ignore and unacknowledge that every time there's a racist incident, that it wasn't racially motivated or racially charged or something. That's the only way it cannot affect me, is I gotta make sure that his reality is not real to me. So, I mean, that's big. That's be powerful. That's gonna be really hard to do. All right, now let's talk about some other things. Other groups that focus on race a lot, focus on gender a lot, stuff like that, and how it affects them. And let's look at what's going on in the SJW feminism. I don't even know if Black Lives Matter is relevant. They rebranded it so many times that it's not even the black people no more. Let's go to from race to gender. Like the problem with having more than two genders is that we haven't mastered the full capacity of what each gender could do first. So here you have women who haven't even mastered all of the abilities and all of the accomplishments that women can do, and they're already moving on to the next genders. And then you have men who haven't mastered all the capabilities of being a man, and they're already moving on to other genders. It's like we're here to create and to learn and to master. We're not here to just create things and then move on. You know, it's like it's so many things you can educate yourself with. People think, man, I learned this, I learned that, I don't have to learn no more. And that's the thing about being on this earth is we have to learn, we have to master. You have to master everything. We're here to learn. We're not here to unlearn. so we're here to master things. We're not here to create something and then just move on. I guess this is gonna be a random video. I'm gonna talk about everything. All right. I'm gonna try to go fast. All right. Let's see. Global warming. Global warming is real, but is it gonna affect us? Yeah. Is it a bad thing? No. Do we have to concern ourselves with it? No. It's a scam, and people made a lot of money off of it and lost a lot of money off of it. Okay, here's how you know global. Because think about it. First of all, it was called global warming, and then that didn't work out, so they called it climate change. They say global warming only means the globe is warming, so we can't use that no more. So they rebranded it. They made it climate change. Global warming made the climate change. So they moved on to another brand. If that don't work, then you say, well, climate change. The climate has changed. What are you saying? It rains one day and then it doesn't rain another? Is that what you're saying? That's basically what they're saying. That one day it rained and one day it didn't rain. That means the climate changed. One day it was sunny and one day it wasn't sunny. One day there was a week of hurricanes. One day it wasn't. One week it wasn't. All you saying is that what are you saying? Okay, are they saying the climate is changing, or are they? Because here's how you trick people with words. First of all, when you say global warming, you're saying the globe is warming, but then they say, well, okay, how much is it warming more than it did before? No, there's times where we have ice ages and dark ages and slow ages and cold ages and hot ages. It happens all the time. This earth is like trillion years old. There's times where it was a point where we had dinosaurs and all of a sudden now we don't. So things go in and out of existence like all the time. Planets and solar systems and galaxies get created all the time. So it's not really that big of a deal. And then you say climate change. Climate changes every day. It becomes sunny and it's not. It's windy and it's not. It snows and it's not. So either they're saying they're just talking about that, or they're just saying it's worse than before. No, it's not. There has been times where it's been cold for a really long time, and then hot for a really long time. And it happens all the time. You know, so much things happen in the universe that we don't know about. I mean, it's like we can't keep track of it all. So because of people's ignorance and not wanting to learn and master things, people hear climate change like, oh, climate change, oh man, we got to deal with that. It's like, you can't. What are you going to do? Get rid of the sun? Get rid of hurricanes? How are you going to stop hurricanes? So here's the funny thing about like all of this stuff. If you're still using a toilet, you're not an environmentalist, because every time you use a toilet, all your waste is going into the toilet, and you don't know where it's going, and it's being allocated and controlled by the government or by the waste management. So you don't control where the waste is going. If you're a real environmentalist, you wouldn't even have a toilet. That means every time you go to the bathroom, your feces will go into the earth, and you can control where it goes. But because you don't control where it goes, you're not actual environmentalists. And people who ride bikes, I like to ride bikes, but you being a bicyclist doesn't mean you're a environmentalist. Did you know that it took more carbon emissions for the truck to drive these bikes to the shop for you to purchase the bike? More emissions. The truck that is transporting your bike to the shop for you to buy is using more carbon emissions than your car. You might as well drive the car, because the truck that's shipping all the bikes to the shop for you to buy is emitting more carbon dioxide than your car did. So you think because you're riding a bike that you had to buy with capitalism, that you're somehow a environmentalist now. Only way you can be a environmentalist is you walk everywhere. That your clothes is made of materials that you made. That you're wearing socks. You're using a phone that's only using what they call this vegan electricity. If you have a cell phone, then you're not an environmentalist. Because, first of all, phones emit radiation. Another thing, like I said, with the bikes, for them to ship the phones or the bikes to the shop where you can buy them, the trucks emit carbon dioxide. Unless these trucks, which I would guarantee that you can't control which trucks they use, unless you control the trucks they use, I can say electric trucks, unless you control the trucks they use, yeah, they're using gas powered trucks. And another thing, like what was it said, like these scientists and environmentalist celebrities that go to these conferences to talk about the environment and climate change and global warming, did you know that they drove there in a jumbo jet? Do you know how much carbon dioxide is being emitted just by driving them 1,000 miles in this jumbo jet to the event? Yeah. Oh my gosh. They said, oh my gosh, it's so contradictory, like the stuff they be saying. It's like they don't even, that's why my channel's called Think More. Because you people gotta think more, man. It's like, well, we gotta, there's so much stuff that people say that is so contradictory. Climate change and another thing, let's see, it's like recycling. Recycling is just free labor. Because the government can't pay someone to recycle, you know, separate the plastic with the trash, is that they're, instead of doing that, they're paying, they come up with this campaign of you thinking you're helping the environment, and they're basically getting you to do free labor. They're getting you to do something that they could do, but you're doing it for free. So recycling is just free labor. You know, they got you to do something that they could do, but they're too lazy to do, so you're doing it for free. Now, and I'm not saying that you cannot help the environment, but if you can, for you to truly help the environment, you have to be really hardcore with what you're doing. And the way you do it is really kind of like semi-environmentalist. You're not really, you're kind of like a 1%, you're 1%er kind of environmentalist. You're kind of doing it, well actually I would say, you're doing it kind of like halfway. It's like I said, like, man, this environmentalist is basically the same thing as a socialist, what I call American socialists, where they're not actually socialists. They're just pretending that they, well, it's like a lot of these people are socialists, but they're only pretending to be. Because for you to be a socialist, let's see, for you to be a socialist, you would have to control the politics, the money, and the means of production. I think a communist is a person who believes in community. Everything is public. Everything is publicly owned, which ain't gonna work because not everybody wants to be public. You know, somebody's, you know, if you just grow cabbage, kale, carrots, and then we all can have access to these cabbage, kale, carrots. What if somebody comes along and says, I want watermelon, and so now you gotta start growing watermelon. But okay, I'm trying to go fast, but okay, here's the problem with communism, socialism, is that who is controlling how much I can take? So if I have a batch of carrots, who's controlling how many carrots I can take? Is the community controlling it? Because what if I decide that I take too many carrots? Let's say I decide, you know, that I want more than one carrot. Like, how do I punish that person because he took more than one carrot? How do I control this person? How do I make sure this person doesn't take too many carrots? I'm gonna have to make a law to make sure that if he takes too many carrots, we're gonna have to punish him. We're gonna have to punish that person. And that's usually what happens when it's like 50,000 people, 100,000 people, millions of people, is that you're gonna have to eventually start making laws where it's gonna make sure that the people don't take too much food. Because now you have to control how much people have. And that's when it gets difficult. At first it's like, if it's 5 people, man, you know how hard it is to manage just 5 people and to make sure that they don't take too much and we equally have everything that we need. We all equally have the same amount of carrots, same amount of food. You know how hard it is just to manage 5 people? You know, even harder to manage 5 million people. Why do you think people get killed? Why do you think people get harmed and beheaded? Because it's really difficult. Let's see. Okay, for you to be the socialist, okay, if you have a cell phone and you didn't make it, you can't have it. You didn't produce it. In socialism, communism, if you didn't produce it, you can't have it. That's why North Korea, which is the true socialism, North Korea is one of the crappiest countries in the world. I don't know how you don't know this is the crappiest country. Would it be Zimbabwe? Would it be North Korea? Would it be Cuba? These places are so bad, it's not even funny. North Korea has its own cell phone. And you know that's the only cell phone you can use? You have to use that cell phone because that is the one that they produced. And I'm sorry, it's basically like basically a copy of a Chinese phone. They can't even be original and make their own phone. They just copy, you know, the Chinese people's phones. Anyway, so let's run down race. Is it real? No. Well, you see okay, let's break it down real fast. The alt-right believes that race is real. but they believe that they're not racist. No, they believe that they are racist. If you call them racist, no big deal. The problem with SJWs and all these other people, the leftists, if you keep calling these people racist, eventually they're going to be either become racist or they're not going to be bothered by you calling them racist. So let's end on this. If you keep calling these people racist, they will either become racist or not bothered by you calling them racist. Because people who are calling people racist are actually the real racists, and they want to feel good about themselves, or they don't want to announce that they're the real racists, so they can keep tricking everybody. So the people who are calling people sexist are the real sexists, because feminism, all it does is just separate women from men. I mean, that's what it ended up doing. So you're actually the real sexist because you don't want men to join your group. So you're the one that's separating the sexes. You don't want men to join your group, and you're saying that men can't be a part of the group. And usually the men that join the group is the ones that you picked. That's sexism. You're not allowing men to freely join your movement. You're only allowing the ones you want to join the movement. That's like religion, right? You only want certain people in your group. You might as well be a religion. Anyway, so if you want to beat a leftist, all you got to do is, if they call you racist, say, yeah, I am. Okay, what's the problem? Because the only way they defeat you is that you have to keep, usually when people, see, they know you're not racist, so they're just using psychology on you. Because they know you're not racist, they know by calling you racist, you defend yourself, and they'll catch you kind of like off guard, and you start getting emotional, and then eventually they win an argument because the people who are calling you racist are really actually the real racists, and they know you're not racist, and they'll know you'll try to defend yourself. So if you're trying to defeat them, the best way to defeat them is, if they call you a racist, say, yes, I am. What's the problem? Or you can either say that, or you question if they're actually the racist. If I'm a racist, then how much evidence do you have that you're saying that you're not a racist? If I'm the racist, then what evidence do you have that you're not the racist? And then they'll say whatever. But that's all you got to do. And the same thing with feminism. If they call you sexist, you either say, yes, I am, what's the problem? Or you say, what evidence do you have that you're not the sexist? And if you look at feminism, it's mostly women. Matter of fact, it's been just women. So aren't they the actual sexists? Because they don't want men, another sex, in the group. That means they're saying that their sex is superior, and they don't want men in their group. So aren't they, by definition, the sexists? And then Black Lives Matter is by definition racist. You're saying that Black Lives Matter, and you're not including the other races. So by definition, you're saying that you're superior or more important than the other races. People say, no, that's not what they were saying. They were saying that they Black Matter as no, then, but you didn't clarify that. See, the problem with saying things is you didn't clarify anything. You said, well, no, we actually meant that ours matters just as much as the other one. Okay, you just said that in the beginning. Anyway, so a lot of times when people like to attack you with certain things, all you gotta do is bring them back to them. Because a lot of this stuff is it's all what's going on internally inside of them. That's what's going on. It's turmoil inside of them. So they feel good about themselves that they call you racist, or call you sexist, or call you bigoted, because they really don't, they're not even sure about their own prejudices, their own internal racism, and they haven't even, haven't mastered their own gender. or their own selves or their own race or their own group. So instead of mastering their own ideology and thoughts and the way they feel about things, they kind of just move on to other people's, schisms and isms and ideology and ideas, because they don't want they don't want to master their own self. They move on to mastering other people's selves, other selves. So the best thing to do is master yourself, and then every time they come with any type of inconsistencies, you'll know what to do. So if they call you a sexist, if a feminist comes up to you and says and calls you a sexist, you say, aren't y'all the real sexists? Don't y'all separate men from women? Aren't y'all saying that your women are superior to men? Wait, wouldn't that mean that you're the sexist? And the same thing with immigration. You say, man, we gotta let immigrants in. How many immigrants are in your community, and how many of them live with you? They don't? Okay, then you must don't care about it, right? Okay. Alright, you say, if they bring up Black Lives Matter, you say, isn't Black Lives Matter racist? Shouldn't it be? I wouldn't even say all lives matter. I would say any person that deserves to matter matters. Yeah. Because all the thoughts out there, if you have a thug life, you can have a thug death. So all these people that got killed by the cops or killed by others, that is the life that they chose to live. So if you want a thug life, you're going to have a thug death. So I don't know why you're even surprised. So I mean, basically, what you do with all these movements and all these things is, what is their final goal? What are they trying to gain? What are they trying to get? I mean, to tell you the truth, I don't think they want anything. I think it's like a continuous kind of like a thing. The feminists don't really want equality with men. They know good and well that's not going to happen. So they have us fighting over this stuff that they have us fighting over things that are never going to happen. So global warming, climate change, science, racism, sexism, these things are like, these things up and down all the time. They change all the time. These things are going to be happening for the end of time until we master them. So it's going to take a long time to master these things. So we need to focus on a couple things at once so we can master each one of these things. And then once we master them, we'll be fine. Alright, remember to subscribe. No, wait. Because I don't know if subscribe is really doing anything. Hit the notification and do the share. That share works. Sharing and liking and the notification with the bell thing, that works. And that will really help me out. Alright, peace out.